FreeMMOStation.com.
Hey, what's going on, Station? I'm Skyland Shore. Pretty excited to bring you my first impressions of Ascend Hand of Kul. It's on Steam. You can get it on Steam for free to play right now, and also you'll be able to play it on Xboxy. So, yeah, it's actually, I think it would work really well with controllers, and it worked okie dokie with the keyboard and mouse. So, I mean, at least better than Dark Souls, which this game is pretty, I would say, heavily inspired from, just because of some of the gameplay mechanics, but the overall, like, game feel, it's nothing like Dark Souls. It really feels more something like something you play on, like, the Xbox or PlayStation 2, like one of those sort of brawlers, not God of War. God of War is definitely way over the top and spectacular compared to this, but aesthetically and, you know, kind of in the whole brawler genre, you know, kind of like that. I guess you could say a more arcade version of Dark Souls. And Dark Souls isn't terribly realistic, but it still feels really weighty and good. This one, it's everything moves really kind of fast and kind of silly looking, and nothing's really super polished. Nothing is crazy good looking, and even though Gears of War is over the top, it still looks really good and it still feels really good. This game, it doesn't quite have that feel. It's not quite that gritty, or it just they just didn't get the game feel, and that's okay though. It's whatever. A lot of reviews have this game panned at 60 and then up to 80. So it's like an average game, and it's a free-to-play, so you might as well try it, especially because of some of these unique mechanics. For one, you have sort of this crusade, and also you have these challenge modes, okay? So you go through the game as a chaos, which is somebody that can ascend. You're sort of like this giant being, not human at all. Humans are lesser beings. You devour humans and throw them and do whatever you want with them. The game's a little bit comical in that sense, and it's really dark and bloody, so yeah, definitely no 12-year-olds. But yes, I would say you're a chaos and you can ascend, and what ascending means is basically you kill yourself so you can redo the game and you can earn more spells and level up your ascended creature. Basically, it's just like you're rebirthing, you know, stuff like that. So, yes, that's where they get the name from, Ascend. And Hand of Kul is basically this main pinnacle of it's an area in the game called the Hand of Kul, and, you know, story stuff happens with that. But what's really cool with the map, okay? So, the map, you actually interact with players while you go through and do all this Hand of Kul RPG stuff. You know, you follow a storyline based on the deity that you choose, depending on when you ascend. You know, you can choose one god in one lifetime, you can ascend, rebirth, and you can choose a different god. So you get different spells and different things, and you can craft your character really well, and it's kind of like Dark Souls, how you do different playthroughs so that you can make sure you get everything, since just in one playthrough you're not going to get everything. So you unlock it by replaying this game. However, the gameplay is extremely repetitive, even in my first impressions, because the combo system isn't terribly deep. It is smooth and it does work okay. It's definitely better than a lot of tab targeting MMOs, I can say that. So it is there, and I can see PvP actually being a little bit skill-based and a little bit mechanical. So that's cool, but it's still extremely repetitive. There's not too much that you can do, at least until you get lots of different spells. Once you get lots of different spells and you're just firing these things off, fireballs and lightning zapateroos, it can be pretty intense. But for just the normal melee combat at the moment, not too much. I really hope they add more things to it. So Ascend Hand of Kul. Very much like Dark Souls, absolutely inspired by Dark Souls. You can see other players, sort of phantoms. You know, they have the same exact lore explanation. You know, time and dimensions and universes are all colliding, and they're all whatever, parallel junk, okay? So you see other players, and you can interact with them, and in this game, it's a little bit interesting. There is PvP, because there is sort of like a territory control-ish thing to this, depending on the god that you are sort of serving under at the moment. You sort of fight other people that are in different covenants, and you try to take over different altars and stuff like that. It's a single-player experience, very similar to Dark Souls, but it still is also very much a multiplayer experience. It's that same-ish niche that's being filled, and that's what makes this game worth it right now. Just to try, it's really cool to see that mechanic. So if you've never played Dark Souls, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. You gotta play a game like this. It's just interesting to see. So, you can see other people's phantoms. Say you're doing some sort of horde mode, okay? We're doing a horde mode, we're killing a bunch of people, and we're on the last wave. We're actually being swamped, okay? So we might potentially die. We see somebody else's phantom. That's good for us. It can be bad, but it's good for us. So, okay, we can banish other monsters into their dimension. Yeah, no, really. You can banish really. Monsters that you are fighting, you can banish them and put them into the world of the person that's phantomizing right beside you. And now they start the horde mode, and now they have the last wave that they're fighting on top of the first wave. Of course, they can do this vice versa back to you, but for instance, say if they're on the first horde wave, that's easy. You just traded out boss monsters for nothing, for garbage. easy. And potentially you might kill them. But, you know, that's just a little bit of fun. It's a little bit of toxicity, but it's, you know, it's friendly toxicity, if that even makes sense. It's just all good and fun, and that's how Dark Souls is, and that's how Ascend Hand of Kul is, and it's just actually really just an interesting mechanic. And, of course, there is PvP a little bit. It's nothing like an arena-ish. I mean, there are altars that you take over, and you do these little challenges, and you're trying to accumulate as much territory for your covenant or your deity that you are worshipping under during your Ascended run. And that's it. That's pretty much the game. You just go around, you brawl, you beat stuff up, bloody. You can have human minions. You can command them. You can throw them. You can eat them for health. It's really dark, gritty, kind of God of War-ish, but it's very arcade. And there's, you know, there's actually not. It doesn't look that good, and there's not too much to the game really. It's just it has that really cool, interesting mechanic where the whole phantoms and parallel universes, and it's a single-player, multiplayer experience, just like Dark Souls. This game is trying to do something different, even though it doesn't quite have the polish to really put out a AAA title. You know, it's a free-to-play game, and you should try it. So, well, I just want to say the customization isn't that great. I really would have liked, you know, like more monstrous player characters, but whatever. The armor's decent, I guess. The movesets, physically, not that impressive. The magic, once you get a lot of magic, it's a lot of fun. You know, you fire fireballs and zippity-zappities all over the place. No, you can do a lot of magic stuff, but mechanically, the PvP is really intense. Mechanically, the single-player component, which is basically the whole game. The whole game is multiplayer and single-player together. It's just extremely repetitive, where Dark Souls, it gets away with it because everything is very mechanically intensive. In this game, it's really button mashy. But that's it. That's my review. That's my first impressions. Hope you guys like the gameplay. Hope you guys like the commentary and review. I'm Skyland Shore with FreeMMOStation. If you like this stuff, like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.